All right, guys, today's video, we're going to be talking about corporate culture overall and their commitment to DEI, regardless of the fact that a lot of them have admitted that it's bad for business overall. They are still going to double down, triple down, whatever number down at this point, and they're going to continue to push the DEI nonsense, regardless of the backlash that it brings them as a corporation. We have a report here from Phantom Pulse that says major corporations remain committed to DEI despite the massive backlash.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
Now, again, ladies and gentlemen, just to kind of reiterate, we already know that this is going to be a thing, right? These companies are going to go whatever way the wind goes. And at the end of the day, DEI brings them a lot of money from an investor standpoint. They're not really focused so much on the sales aspect. It's so hilarious to me that they actually have pivoted away from focusing on the customer and more so focusing on investors. It's absolutely insane. And it makes you wonder, how cheap are these loans that are coming from these ESG and DEI investors that they are choosing to prioritize them over their customers? So let's get into this article, guys, from Phantom Pulse. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. Now, lovingly, of course, they decided to use a picture of Concord here, which is hilarious. A relatively recent report claims that major S&P 500 companies are committed to DEI initiatives, programs, and policies despite significant backlash to it. A report published on October 1st from public relations and advisory company Tenniel by Phaeton Al-Assir, Lisa R. Davis, and Rose James claims that DEI will survive moving forward. The report, which analyzed 250 S&P 500 companies and their sustainability reports, revealed that all the companies have some kind of DEI policy or agenda. However, it is noted that the percentage of companies that use the term DEI has declined from 99% to 94%. Now, this part right here I find interesting. And I honestly thought it would be less, right? I thought it would go from 99% to like 70, because truthfully what it is that they're rebranding their DEI. A lot of these companies that are coming out publicly and saying they're walking away from DEI, let it be known that most of them are not doing that, right? Shout out to Kirsch, obviously has spoken about Bridge in length. So anybody who has watched Kirsha has learned about Bridge and whatnot, and they're just going to rebrand, which is something that we've known for the longest time. They do this often. Companies will shut down, rebrand certain things, and they will do this to try to avoid public ire, because public ire only lasts for so long. On average, backlash towards anything lasts about a year, and then people move on. Now, the difference is that people have available information to them a lot easier now than they ever did in the past. So certain things will last longer if the conversation keeps going, which is why they don't like YouTubers, because the YouTubers keep the conversation going. But yes, apparently they're going from 99% to 94% in terms of DEI. They're probably using some variation of the acronym IED or something like that. You know what I mean? They'll play around with it. Nevertheless, it's noted that of the 94%, the percentage of companies that now prioritize inclusion by placing it first in the acronym has risen. There has also been a noticeable addition of culture or belonging focused titling instead. Now, we've seen this. We've seen this a lot. Well, they'll say, oh, this is a culture of belonging. We focus on diversity, equity, and belonging. It's the weirdest thing. It's like, what are you guys even talking about? Do you even know what half of this stuff means? Furthermore, the report reveals that a little under half, 43%, of the companies continue to maintain and promote quantitative, time-bound DEI goals within their sustainability reports, with almost 80% of these goals remaining unchanged from the last year. 47% of the companies disclosed DEI within their reports in 2023. Now, there's one thing I really want to drive home with this particular video, and that's all the shills that are out there trying to pretend as if the people who are being hired right now aren't DEI hires. I want to make that very clear. This is why, as a fellow person who's not white, I highly fight against this, because what these practices do and what these reports do and what this information does is make people highly suspicious of anybody who's not white being hired for any role. You immediately look at someone who's not white with a raised eyebrow and think to yourself, did you earn it? Or are you here because of DEI, right? And this is terrible for people like me. This is terrible for anybody who's not white. It is a bad look, because all it does is make people more and more cautious. If you are truly doing this stuff You should keep it to yourself, right? If you want to make it an eternal culture where you want to focus on representation or whatever the case may be and give equal opportunity, then you should be keeping it to yourself and hiring people based on their merit. And if the person who is not white truly is the best for the role, then give them the job. That's what we used to do. I don't understand why you can't do that now. And you have to make it obvious that you are hiring people based on discriminatory practices. This is anything. Bro, this is 100% discriminatory, 100%. And the fact that they're out here saying it with their full chest as if they can't get in trouble for it is insane. When did it become okay to be racist all because you're being racist against white people? I will never understand this notion. And all it does, like I said, is make us look worse. It makes non-white people look worse at the end of the day. These goals include representation quotas, which again, the term representation quota is terrible for us. Based on sex and race, supplier diversity goals, as well as hiring quotas from certain colleges, such as historically black colleges. Now, imagine going to a black college, which is already a DEI college in and of itself, and then you want to hire people specifically only from that college. At what point do you have any sort of pride in like, hey, you start questioning, are you hiring me just because I'm black? At what point do you have this question? Because I can't imagine having someone look at me and hire me from a black college specifically because I'm from a black college and not think that to myself. And I'm sure there's people out there that are going to be like, well, I'm chasing the bag, so it doesn't matter. I get that. But then you have to be okay with people looking at you and questioning whether or not you actually earn the position that you're in. And that's sad because chances are you probably did earn it. But nobody's ever going to look at you that way because of these practices. These practices are inherently going to change people's perceptions over non-white people being hired for anything. You can't avoid it, right? You just can't, because you can't lie to people and say, yeah, I'm hiring based on merit, but then the only merit that you're hiring based off is people of specific skin color. So they really didn't compete, right? People like me, people like black people and other black people, whatnot, they didn't compete, right? Spanish people, black people didn't compete against white people if you only selected that pool from a specific skin color. So did they really earn it? They didn't really earn it at the end of the day, in my opinion. If you're not competing against everybody, you didn't earn it. And that's why people make the joke that DEI stands for didn't earn it, because that's really what it is at the end of the day. So I really wish that they would stop this kind of stuff, but let's be real. They're not going to. That's pretty obvious at this point. They're going to double down, triple down. I mean, just look at these graphs. You can read it clear as day that they track this stuff. They literally track this stuff. We are cattle to them. Do you understand? Like, non-white people are cattle to these companies to be utilized to push a certain agenda that will make them profit through investment. That is literally what's happening here on screen right now. The fact that they are tracking anything other than white is insane to me, and it's hilarious too in the same notion, because again, you're going to have shills out there that are going to defend these companies, and they're going to say, well, no, people are getting hired based off their merit, and you're just mad that black people and other people are getting opportunities now. First off, you're retarded, because again, I'm not white. And second off, are you serious right now? You really think that you got these jobs based off your merit when the company that's hiring you is telling you that they are having quotas for hiring people of certain skin colors by the end of the year? You really think that you are a merit-based hire at that point? I would honestly feel ashamed of myself. Not that you did anything wrong. It's the company that's doing something wrong. But I would never feel any sort of satisfaction with earning my place, because I just know that the company hired me for my skin color. You know that. You can try to lie and say that's not the truth all you want, but the companies are out here showing you their tracking, showing you their graphs, showing you their quotas, and showing you that you were part of that. You were part of that quota. As much as you want to try to deny it, as much as you want to not pretend like you're not angry about it, at the end of the day, you are their cattle. They are utilizing you to say, hey, daddy investor, give me money now. It is sad as fuck, in my opinion, and I just can never stand behind this stuff. And this is why when we have non-white people shilling for this, when we have non-white people saying, yep, this is great, this is giving us more opportunities, you're not getting any opportunity. You're being utilized for a means to an end by a corporation that can't give two fucks about you, that is only utilizing you to try to get more money and investment from other corporations that want to utilize you to make themselves look better. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you did enjoy. And if you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.